The Tale of Pin. Hi there. You might think I'm just an ordinary pin, lying here on this desk, but let me tell you, I've lived 1,000 lives, shared in countless dreams, and whispered secrets that only paper and ink can hold. My story is long, but oh, how colorful it is. Let me share a few pages of my existence with you. It all started in a bustling stationery shop, where the scent of fresh paper and polished wood filled the air. The shop was a treasure trove for anyone with a love for the written word. Pens, pencils, notebooks, and journals lined the shelves, each item waiting for its moment to be chosen. My sleek, black body gleamed under the soft glow of the store lights, standing proudly among a collection of other pens. I was no different, and yet I was unique. I could feel the anticipation building in the air, a silent promise that someone was about to choose me for something special. The shop was filled with the sounds of chatter, the shuffling of paper, and the faint ding of the door as customers came and went. I watched with bated breath as people walked past, each of them glancing briefly at me before moving on to something else. But then, it happened. A young woman walked into the store, her eyes scanning the shelves with the intensity of someone on a mission. Her name, as I would soon come to know, was Emily. She had a quiet yet determined energy about her, and I could tell that her mind was always racing, always searching for new ideas. When she reached the section where I stood, her fingers brushed over a few other pens. But then, there was me. I felt her fingers wrap around my body, lifting me gently from the shelf. I had been chosen. I could tell she was excited. Her eyes brightened as she held me, turning me over in her hands, inspecting every curve of my sleek body. She smiled softly, as if we had just made an unspoken connection. I could feel her energy flowing through me as she tested my grip, making sure it was comfortable. It was the moment I had been waiting for, and I was ready. I was going to be part of something extraordinary. "I'll take this one," Emily said to the cashier, her voice full of hope. And just like that, my life took on new meaning. From the moment Emily first uncapped me, I knew I was destined for greatness. She sat down at her small writing desk in her cozy apartment, the dim light from a nearby lamp casting a warm glow on the pages before her. The air was filled with the sound of a ticking clock and the occasional rustle of paper as Emily's thoughts began to flow. She didn't hesitate. With a quick flick of her wrist, the ink began to flow, and I was alive in a way I had never been before. Her fingers moved gracefully over me, forming the delicate shapes of letters that would become words and then sentences. It was as if she was giving life to a world that existed only in her mind. Her first short story was a whimsical tale about a young girl who befriends a dragon. The words danced across the page with the fluidity of a song, and I could feel the magic in every stroke. There's something incredibly special about being part of someone's creative process. It's as if, together, we create something new, something that never existed before. Emily's story was no different. As she wrote, I could feel the world she was building come alive. The dragon, the girl, their shared adventures. It was all unfolding beneath my tip, and I was the silent witness to it all, helping to shape the narrative, one word at a time. "You're my lucky charm," Emily once whispered to me after finishing the story. I could hear the pride in her voice, the satisfaction of completing something that had once only been an idea. I couldn't respond, of course, but if I could, I would have told her how honored I was to be part of her dreams. I was a humble tool, but I had played a part in something beautiful. One day, Emily lent me to her grandfather, a man with weathered hands and a slow, deliberate way of moving. His grip was firmer than hers, and his hand was shakier, as if time had left its mark on him. But when he held me, I could feel the depth of his experiences, the wisdom that had accumulated over the years. His mind was still sharp, and as he sat down to write, I could sense the weight of his words. He used me to write a letter to his estranged brother, a letter that had been years in the making. The letter was filled with decades of regret, longing, and sorrow. His handwriting was uneven, and his hand trembled as he wrote, but I could feel the sincerity in every word. He poured his heart out onto the page, each sentence more vulnerable than the last. It was as if, through me, he was trying to mend a broken bond, to heal a wound that had festered for far too long. As the letter came to a close, the ink was smudged by the tears that fell from his eyes. I felt the weight of his sorrow, and I knew that this letter was not just an attempt at reconciliation. It was an act of courage. He had chosen to open his heart, to expose his vulnerabilities, and that was no small thing. When the letter was sealed and sent, I wished I could see the reunion I had helped make possible. I could only imagine what it might have been like to witness two brothers embracing after years of silence. But as a pen, my role ended there. I could only hope that the ink of reconciliation left its mark on the relationship, just as it had left its mark on the page. Not all the stories I've helped write have been heavy with emotion. There was a time when I was borrowed by a man named Daniel, a comedian with a quick wit and an even quicker hand. I met him at a coffee shop one rainy afternoon. He sat at a small table near the window, scribbling furiously in a notebook filled with half-written jokes and crossed-out punchlines. He had a sharp sense of humor, always searching for that perfect line, that one joke that would make people laugh until their sides hurt. Daniel's energy was contagious. He was constantly muttering lines to himself, testing them out under his breath. I could feel the rhythm of his thoughts as his pen danced across the page. He wrote about everything: the absurdity of daily life, the ridiculousness of human nature, and of course, the classic dad jokes that never failed to get a laugh. Why did the Scarecrow win an award? Because he was outstanding in his field, he wrote, chuckling to himself. I didn't fully understand the humor, but I could feel the joy that came with writing it. There was something exhilarating about helping someone create laughter, to be part of a joke that would spread joy to others. It was a different kind of fulfillment than the one I felt when I helped write something poignant or emotional, but it was no less meaningful. Not every story I've been part of has been lighthearted or joyful. Once, I was used by a woman named Claire, who needed to write her final goodbye to a loved one. Her hands trembled as she gripped me, her fingers pressing down with a force that reflected her pain. She wrote slowly, carefully, as if every word was a tear that had to be released. The ink was smudged by the tears that fell onto the paper, and I could feel her sorrow in every stroke. She wrote about the memories they had shared, the love they had once known, and the final moments when their paths diverged. I felt the weight of her grief, the aching emptiness that came with saying goodbye. It was a bittersweet experience, being part of such a personal moment. I had been there for her joy, her creativity, her laughter. But this was different. This was raw, and this was painful. As she finished writing, Claire sat back and took a deep breath, as if she had released something heavy from her chest. I didn't know what happened after that, but I hoped that my ink had somehow helped her find closure. Sometimes, the stories we help write aren't about creating something new or joyful. They're about letting go, about moving forward, even when the heart is broken. Over the years, I've learned that my value doesn't lie in my sleek design or the smoothness of my ink. It's not about the brand or the price tag. It's about the stories I help tell. I've been a silent companion to dreamers, thinkers, and creators. Through me, lives have been documented, laughter has been shared, and hearts have been healed. I've been part of journeys that have led to new beginnings, reconciliations, and the discovery of new ideas. Each time I'm picked up, I am filled with the potential of what might come next. Sometimes I wonder how it feels to be a story yourself, to live and breathe and change. But then I realize, I am part of countless stories. I am the unseen thread that weaves moments together, leaving my mark on the tapestry of life. It's not always obvious, but the impact of my existence is felt in the lives I touch. I have written countless words, seen countless worlds come to life, and helped countless people express themselves. I have been there for the joyous moments, the creative bursts, the tears, and the laughter. And though I may be just a pen, I carry the essence of humanity. I am the keeper of thoughts, the vessel of creativity, and the witness to lives unfolding. As I lie here on the desk, waiting for the next hand to pick me up, I'm filled with anticipation. What will my next story be? A love letter? A groundbreaking idea? A simple shopping list? Whatever it is, I'll embrace it with the same enthusiasm I had when Emily first picked me up all those years ago. I'll be ready for whatever comes my way. So, the next time you pick up a pen, remember this. We might just be tools, but we carry the essence of humanity. We are the keepers of your thoughts, the vessels of your creativity, and the witnesses to your lives. And as for me, I'm ready to write my next chapter with you.